Welcome to a tutorial video on learning Node. This is video 3 within this series. In the previous video, we looked at Npm and Node, the two additional command line tools we get when Node.js is installed in our system. With Npm, we saw we can manage our packages, and we ran npm space init, we initialized a new Node package. We also saw with the command node, we could run different files. In the previous video, we ran node space index.js to run the index.js file. Let's pick up right where we left off for that. So we currently have one line of code, console.log, with the string hi. And we saw when we run that, it would show us on the command line that exact text, because the console is the command line when we're working with Node. They are the same thing. So now in this video, I want to talk about the global function require and the global object module.exports. So what exactly am I talking about? Well, let's introduce a problem and then talk about how this works towards a solution. So currently I have just one file. What if I created another one? So over here in Visual Studio Code, I want to create a new file. I use the new file icon. I'm going to call this another.js. I now have two JavaScript files. The first one is index.js and the second one is another.js. Now I'm going to create a new variable . And I have that now on line 1 of another.js. But I want to use that variable in index.js. Now I've got a problem. I want to use a value in one file in another file. Well, in Node, there are two things that allow you to do that when used in conjunction with each other. The first of which is module.exports. So, in this another.js file, I'm going to say module.exports is equal to example. What this says is, within this module, which it treats as a file, I want to export what? I want to export the value of the variable example. So whatever is in example, which currently is just the number 9, it will be exported from this module, which is to say it will be exported from this file. So I want to save this. So on the keyboard on Windows, Control S, or I could have gone to File, Save, right? Control S right here. On Mac, it would be Command S. So module.exports, what do I want to export? I want to export whatever is in the variable example. Okay, exporting done. In index.js, I want to get to that value. That works through a different function called require. So the function require, so open and closing parentheses, and then I need to tell it the location of that file relative to this file. So from this file, index.js, to another JS, where would that be? Well, they are in the same directory, so I can just write another.js within quotation marks. And that will let Node know that I want to require the contents of another file. In that other file, I will export the value of the variable example. Now on line 3, I'm going to change this to example. And I'm going to save this, Control S on Windows, or File Save as well. So in another JS, module.exports is equal to the variable. Whatever is the value of this variable will be exported out. In index.js, I'm using the require function. Whatever is exported, I will import in, I will require, and then it will become the value of the variable example here. So example here in this file is different from the variable example in another file. but they are communicating in a way by being exported out of one file and required into another file. So now if we run this code, which means going back to the command line and running node.js, we can see, oh, it couldn't find the module another.js. Well, that's very odd. We need to tell it that it is /. In command line terms, in directory terms, the // means the current directory, and / within the same space. So // tells Node, look in the current directory for a file matching this name. So now if we run this, node index.js, it will give us the value 9. So we need to tell it the relative path when requiring files. So we see here the require function, which requires, that is, imports in whatever is exported from another file. In another file, we set to module.exports a certain variable. And whatever was the value of that variable was exported out of this module and imported through the require function of this. Notice the error we got was cannot find module. Node thinks of each file as a separate module. And so that's what we have here. It said, oh, I can't find the module. And over here, we said module.exports. So in this video, I introduced 2 new things we need to be aware of. If we want to create a value in one file and use it in another file, we need to export it out of the one file and require it in the other file. We do that, we're using module.exports, and we set it to whatever we want to export out. Then in another file, we use the require function, and we give it the relative path from this file to the other file. And Visual Studio Code will help us if we put the cursor over the path, say, oh, this must mean example/another. That must be the file you mean. And in fact, it is. So we see in this video, we're building on the Node concepts we already know. So now we're using module.exports to export out of one file and using the require function to require in the other file. Expanding on our repertoire of what we already know about Node across the series of videos. Thanks for watching.